Well, Greg, you can't say we don't get you good opening acts.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate you setting that up for us. The co-op appreciates it.
Well, there you go. And you are one of the owners of the co-op, after all.
Oh, I am. Yeah, we're up to count now is 7,600.
That's
Really?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the you had asked last week how the membership drive went for the during December.
Correct.
We were saying give the gift of membership. Over 100 new members in December, so that was a record-breaking month. Anyway.
Is that something you try for, or are you just getting them by default?
Oh no,
Are you actively campaigning to get?
Actually, we are going to be actively campaigning for the next 3 months. We've have perked up the member owner perk program, and so we'll be introducing that. And we're shooting for 8,000 members by summer anyway.
That's great. And you get them from referrals. Like, you've got to come and be a member of the co-op like I am. You get it from people talking about how wonderful it is.
Yes, definitely so. You know, a lot of people. You know, there's one of the primary things is I've always wanted to be a member, and I've just never taken the time. So you know, when they finally take the time, then they sign up anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, obviously, we took a little bit of your blame the governor. We took a little bit. Hey, you know, we took a little bit of your time. So, what would you like to chat about today?
Well, it's New Year's resolutions, and I don't know how many people have already blown theirs.
It's what, the 10th today? Yeah, maybe.
I'm still doing pretty well on mine.
man.
But it was a more elaborate title. So if you read
Nutrition, what does it look like for me? Should it be a New Year's resolution?
Okay, and so we have Sam and Ann in today to discuss that. And
Well, let's go alphabetically. Okay. Ann first. Ann Peterson's experience includes working one-on-one with clients at Nutrition Works NH LLC. Mm-hmm. Do I have to have the exclamation point?
You do. You have to. Yes.
I have, so it has to be Nutrition Works NH exclamation point LLC.
Nice.
Okay.
That was well done.
Right.
Thank you.
Her private practice is downtown Concord, as well as roles as a clinical dietitian, campus dietitian, and eating disorder dietitian. Ann's passion is helping individuals meet their unique health goals using a balanced, holistic approach, and can be reached at annnutritionworksnh.com. And Dr. Sam, back again. How are you, Sam?
Great. Thanks for having me back.
Thank him. Still considers himself extremely blessed to be able to touch people and assist them with their wellness goals through chiropractic after a quarter of a century. 25 years. One of the greatest rewards is having the opportunity to teach folks how their body works and how to listen to and properly interpret the signals that show up in the way of symptoms. That, to me, is the important part. He can be reached at Dr. Sam at mycommunitychiro.com. So, do you have a lot of people, Ann, that say, okay, January 1st, I'm gonna blank, and then they kind of bail on it? Or are they sticking with it?
So some people stick with it. Some people don't. It really happens all throughout the year.
For
It's
the
really
ones
about a
who don't stick to it,
motivation.
how do you get them back on track?
Really, they really need me to they need to come in. They'll come in and see me on a regular basis and just tell me, I need to be accountable to you. So that helps them. So, and I'm not.
That's kind of deferring responsibility.
Well, I know, but I can totally see people. It's so much easier if I'm accountable for myself. I can blow it off really easily because I can talk myself out of it so much easier. If you're accountable to somebody else, you there's a little bit more impetus to get it done.
Yeah, and often they'll come in and they maybe have made one change of maybe the 5 that we talked about, and that's okay.
It is
so
okay.
I congratulate them
progress.
on the one
Sure.
change because it's all about where you are in your state of change, right? And even though they might have a New Year's resolution, that's on paper, but they haven't really wrapped their head around that yet.
Did you make any?
I did, but they're not nutrition related.
They're not. Okay.
So, well, let me ask. Well, because you're on top of it, I'm assuming you're on top of your own nutrition. But let's ask the question that was asked in the title. I mean, it's like a riddle. I know the answer is you should have nutrition as a New Year's resolution for yourself. I mean, isn't that the basis of?
But who? I've never heard of anybody setting that as their New Year's resolution. I mean, health maybe more broadly, but nutrition, I think.
Well, it's usually like I'm going to eat less ice cream.
Yes.
I'm going to have less junk food. So in that respect, not nutrition as a whole. Just I know this stuff is bad. Okay, I'm not going to have a 2-liter bottle of Diet Coke every day. That kind of stuff. I think that's how they back into nutrition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That, and I do the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to cut this out.
I think there's obviously a group that already understands the value of eating healthy and eating fruits and vegetables, and then there's the others like me that have to
we
learn
all
later in
understand
life.
it, Greg.
Well, I guess that's true
We
too.
all get it.
Yeah, I
I
know.
know that. That's probably not good for me, but that little point in my brain goes, but it tastes so good. The little reward part. It's like, oh my God, but the ice cream, ooh, I can,
But the more last night my wife and I were researching, the ways to cleanse your liver, and it's amazing all the different.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's what you do at home?
Wow,
Yes.
that's a good thing.
okay.
It's a good thing.
Honey, what would you like to do tonight? Let's cleanse our livers. Okay.
But the important part was learning how very specific fruits and vegetables all have a very specific function. I found that kind of fascinating, and I'm usually not fascinated by that kind of thing whatsoever. But
but you learn from it.
I did.
Yeah.
But
Now, is that going to modify your behavior?
I'm slowly, I just try to progressively head in a positive direction.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
In theory, I think we all try to.
Yeah.
Some of us glacially, but it's like steering an aircraft carrier. You can't turn on a dime. It takes a long time to make that turn. And that's
Sam, any tips on how to stick with that resolution and put in a program that you can stick with?
Well, I always think that it's good to keep it very simple and say, okay, there's like one thing that I'm going to try to be very conscious of as we go forth, whether it's the New Year's resolution or any point where we're trying to focus on, and whether that's, okay, it's my dairy consumption or it's my portion sizes. I want to keep an eye on that.
Yep.
I've learned very early in my life, and it was a good lesson. It's one of my best life lessons, how important it is to have a healthy diet, a clean diet, a vegetable diet. They're talking about the importance of a Mediterranean diet right now.
Right.
All my people are Mediterranean. I've got 4 grandparents from Sicily.
Nice.
So we kind of grew up with that, the fruit bowl on the table all
But
the
aren't
time.
they big on pasta too?
Absolutely.
So, but
It's in portions.
carbs. I mean,
In moderation.
Okay.
Balance.
In moderation.
But my weakness is sometimes my portion size.
Yep.
So I've got to start keeping an eye on that, and it's just focusing on one area or finding where can I tend to slip up.
Well, in the overview, it talks about how to listen to your body and properly interpret the signals that show up in the way of symptoms. We don't know the questions to ask. And so when something happens, it's easy to say, oh, it must have been that exercise I did, or it was the food. We write it off, but it could be a real thing we need to pay attention to.
Well, that's simple, Peter, because sometimes those symptoms can be, hey, this morning I'm getting dressed and my belt loop has to be a little looser.
Okay.
That's our body talking to us.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's something we have complete control of. That's something that we can do something about.
But what about back pains or pains in the gut, or how do you read those signs? I don't want to turn into a hypochondriac, so every time something happens, I'm going, and what's going on? I don't want to do that, but I also want to listen.
And you also don't want to go online to start looking
Oh,
for the
my
solutions.
gosh,
that
I know,
please.
I know.
It's good to contact somebody who might have some understanding
I
of those.
have no patience with people that self-diagnose from the internet.
Right.
Terrible.
We've got to back away from
Yes,
that.
yes.
And that's one of the things I do when I'm meeting people. And so we use a logical approach to determining what the issue is. And, abdominal pains, gut pains, I'm not the expert on that. But if someone's coming in and saying these are the types of things they're experiencing, someone like Ann might be more appropriate to talk to.
Right, because again, even though you should avoid the internet for the information you get, education is really the key, isn't it, Ann?
Education is key.
Is just
Absolutely.
knowing.
Absolutely.
And do you have some quick selling points that you have with your clients to say nutrition's important for these reasons? This is what you'll the benefits are.
How you'll benefit. Yep.
Sure. So, I was thinking not. It's probably going to answer this question a roundabout way. So we were talking about New Year's resolutions and goals, and what I'll often suggest to people is they'll say, I just want to eat a, quote, healthier diet, right? More nutritious diet. So I will often suggest they just kind of make a checklist, and I say, you probably should be eating 4 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Maybe a little more, but let's start with 4 to 6.
Right.
And then I'll talk about, some protein with every meal. And then you maybe add something starchy. So you just eat some balance, and you eat, fats. So like nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, and a little butter's fine too. So I really start with a framework for them, if that makes sense.
It does.
Because again, talking about small achievable goals. So I start with that.
And it's great because unless guided along, some people don't come up with this sort of list in their head.
Right. They come in and they kind of recount their diet, and sometimes with remorse because they label foods as good and
Can
bad.
you keep a straight face while they're
Of
doing
course,
this?
and it's non-judgment, and I really feel like my eating disorder experience is helpful because a lot of people label things as good and bad.
Right.
And so I just take that away because I truly believe that everything in moderation can provide a healthy diet.
Yeah.
Sam, are there exercises and things I can be doing that would complement chiropractic?
Absolutely.
Like?
Get off your tush.
Get up,
What
get
are you
up
looking
off
at
the
me for?
couch.
I
Yeah.
asked the question.
You asked the question.
Jeez, look at Ann.
But we have to move.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to move. Our bodies are made to move, and most of our workforce now spends their life
Sedentary.
sitting at a chair.
Yeah.
In a chair, staring at a screen, and that's where we're finding a lot of the problems. So just any type of gentle movement, even spinal twists,
For how long?
minutes. It
Oh,
only
oh,
takes
oh,
minutes a
okay.
day. It doesn't have to be a difficult.
But I mean, is there for every hour, should I be taking 3 minutes or 5 minutes, either walking, going the stairs, stretch? I mean, is there a formula?
Well, yeah, that's a good idea to get some movement in at least every hour.
Okay.
A good 5-minute break. In the past, I think people used to take cigarette breaks. That might be
We're not
happening
suggesting that.
here. We're
Right,
not suggesting that at all. But just a break to get up from the chair, move the body.
And you had said that probably 6 months ago on the show, and so I have been doing that. I'm okay. Sam said,
Yeah.
get out of my desk
Yep.
and go outside. I go outside and I.
But does it make
take a
that
minute.
much of a difference, the 5 minutes?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
What does it do to my body?
When we move, our muscles move. It increases circulation and joint movement and,
Right.
and lubrication to the large joints of our low back, our hips, our knees. How many people, their first real issue is a knee problem?
Yeah.
If you don't move it, it's
Right.
gonna wear out and wear out prematurely. So movement is one of the best things, and it doesn't have to be. I was having this conversation recently with a patient. She wanted to get some, exercise in her life. She asked me the same thing, and I said, you don't have to, climb Mount Washington or run a marathon to get some fitness and movement into your spine. I recommended some just basic, gentle yoga movements. 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
3 to 5 minutes to start your day.
A day.
Yeah. Well, to start the day.
Well, yeah, but okay. I think some people think that it's a huge time commitment. It's going to take me an hour a day.
Yeah,
and
no.
I'm so busy. You know how that whole
I
thing
do
works.
know how that thing works. It's one of the major excuses people use.
There you go.
Yes. Absolutely.
But we have to move right now. We have to take a commercial break. Thank
the
you.
shortened one, though.
There
We'll
you
be
go.
back.
We'll be back right after this. Ann Peterson, Dr. Sam in the house, and Greg, of course, from the Concord Food Co-op. The beneficiary of this month's cash register program.
NAMI, so National Alliance on Mental Illness.
New Hampshire,
is this month, and next month is the Crisis Center, and then after that it's Concord Robotics, the
Nice.
high school team.
That's awesome.
And Leslie told us last week, great month. great contribution back in December.
Yeah.
Pope Memorial SPCA, $6,000 check. They were just ecstatic
Unbelievable.
about that.
And it was all pennies and dimes and quarters.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Yeah, that's
Makes
amazing.
a huge
yeah,
difference.
30, what is it, 31,000 from April to the end of the year.
Unbelievable.
That's
You're a great member of the community, Concord Food Co-op.
So, Sam, Ann, I will ask you. I mean, we know the right thing to do. We know when we're being bad to our body. We still do it. We know we're eating junk, but I can rationalize it. How do we get past that point? How do we get past the point that, okay, it's our body. It's the only one we got, without updating knees, ankles, elbows, heart, blah, 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 blah. But how do we get past that, talking ourselves out of doing the right thing?
I think it's setting small, achievable goals. So, like I spoke about before, the checklist that I offer, my clients, they can go home and I tell them, if you just have a salad with some protein on it and some healthy fat for lunch and that's all you do, that's a win. Mm-hmm. Just
I like that. Good.
And-
when, Sam was talking about 3 to 4 minutes of stretching or walking.
But do you have what's the carrot for changing your eating habits? What's the carrot? What do you tell them is going to happen? What's the benefit to them? If you do this, then this is the benefit.
So they are usually looking for just to feel better. So I tell them, if you can eat better, you'll feel better. Aches and pains.
Simple.
Better.
Sounds simple. Thank you, Ann.
Perfect.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you're in the mood for real food, it's Concord Food Co-op.